It is me, Bryan, the fantastic Tjibaria, and the handsome, very handsome Pierre. And this is episode
Thanks,
3.
Bryan.
You're welcome. I'm a little biased, but this is episode
You guys.
3 of I'm Perfectly Beautiful, or Imperfectly Beautiful, however you say it. And the beautiful topic for today is belief. And it could be either having belief or lacking belief. And we came together and decided this topic because I think so many people can really resonate with both sides of it. Sometimes people might be more one-sided than the other, but I think everyone has at least experienced both sides, and it was a topic worthwhile of talking about. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think belief is in my experience, especially it's been something that more recently, I've realized the power of it. And I think we all kind of believe in that field of law of attraction and things like that, and having that belief in whatever it is that you want or desire or need or want to feel and things like that is so impactful to your life, just in every single way. So that's why we chose it, and we feel it's such an important topic, and especially for people who might be struggling with believing, say, maybe they feel they can't do something because there's a lack of self-belief or lack of belief that something is possible because they've not seen something happen. And we have a little guest, Faithy. So if you guys will have noticed, Seb's not here today, so we've got Faith to replace him today.
Yay. By the way, get well soon, Seb.
Yes.
Yeah, get well soon. It's been such a powerful, and I think you have to experience kind of that shift in belief. And I think throughout this, we'll kind of get into ways maybe you can experience that shift, and our experiences experiencing. I don't know if that sounds very good, but our own experiences where we experienced that shift possibly, or maybe we've always had it and it's been easy for us to believe, or the opposite. And we'd like you also in the comments as well later on, maybe you can share some of those experiences too.
Yeah, 100%, because like these wonderful gentlemen have just said before, belief is so impactful in everything. Even for myself, it's been very interesting to believe how belief is such an important thing. And therefore also the question for everybody in here, have you ever had it that you wanted to do something and you really believed in it, and then at some point maybe people said you were crazy, maybe at some point people thought you were not supposing to do something, and they're like, man, you can't do this, and then against all odds, because your belief was so strong, you made it happen. Has anything like that ever happened to you? Then feel very free to comment that below. Or have you had the opposite of it, where it was that you should have been able to do something? Maybe it was a school test. You should have been able to ace it because you've just always been doing your homework or whatever, right? And then you just didn't have that belief. And even though it was supposed to be something so simple, so easy, you just kind of self-sabotage because you didn't believe in it. And then that became true. So if you've ever had anything like this before, then feel very free to share it with us in the comments, because this is, again, like what we're going to be talking about. And hopefully today's episode is going to help you realize that you can master your belief, and it will allow you to create your reality and it creates success. So yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm super excited. Where shall we start today?
I can kick it off.
Yes, please do, Mr. Bryan.
Yeah,
please do.
I just thought of something when you were just speaking, Tjibaria. I can relate back to high school days where, you have one side of belief that is, maybe your parents saying, oh yeah, you need to get good grades, you need to do this and that. And, they have their beliefs of your life and how it should go. And I can't tell you how many times I've taken a test that I probably didn't study enough for, where I've had both sides of it. I've taken it, I've felt really good, and then you get the the grade back, and it's like, oh, you know, maybe I should have studied a little bit more. And then there were other tests that I took, and I thought I bombed them. I thought it was horrible, and I got it back, and I was like, oh wow. So it's very funny how you can, believe certain things that either are true or are not true, and how other people's beliefs on you can make you feel one way or another. I think there was a little resilience in my Sagittarius blood growing up that my parents wanted me to get good grades and go to college. And at that time in my life, I was not taking school very serious. I was playing sports, so I was pretty much going for that. And then, I had a knee injury that took that all away. And then, I was faced with something that then I understood, a little more of their beliefs, because my beliefs at the time were looking this way and reality took me the other way. And it took a big external force to really see what they were talking about.
I think there's some.
And what did that?
No.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You go.
So was that because you better understood them, then you then also could better manage your own belief, or what do you mean exactly?
The emphasis that they were putting on school, I didn't see it that way at the time. So I always heard their beliefs at how important school was. And then when the part that I was so heavily involved in was taken away from an injury, I was looking at it for maybe a chance to go to higher education through athletics. So then it was like forced to just focus on school and see that they were right. If I wanted to go to the next, to higher education at the time, it would have had to have come from taking school more serious, because my injury made my belief, it took it out the window. So then it made me understand what they were talking about a little more.
I see. Thank you so much for letting me go first. What do you want to say?
No, it was kind of stemming from what Bryan was saying in terms that our beliefs, a lot of the time, maybe they're not even our beliefs. There's something that was passed on, or from our parents, from our environment. I'll stick to parents for now, because I think, growing up, that has such a big impact on how we view the world. And those beliefs, like I said, sometimes they're not ours. So I think it takes a good amount of introspection to realize whether those beliefs are actually truly ours, and whether they truly resonate with us, or whether we're just kind of, I don't know, indoctrinated, if maybe we're indoctrinated without really having a chance to fully find our own beliefs and our own truth and things like that.
So being made believe.
Made believe. That was just something
that's quite
from Bryan. What Bryan said that I picked up, that are people carrying out other people's beliefs, or do they really have their own? And that's something that's important for everyone to sit with and be like, oh, did that come from somewhere else, or is it true to me? And maybe it did come from somewhere else.
Yeah, true.
And it is true to you. That doesn't mean that can't happen. You might identify with that belief as well. So, not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that, sometimes you just got to have a look whether it is true, and maybe if it's serving you, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that last part also is a really big point, like whether it is serving you. because a lot of the time as well, when running events and stuff like that, there's these exercises that we take the crowd through about, if, for instance, they want to achieve something, or let's say I want to make $1 million, or I want to create a freedom lifestyle, or I want to attract the love of my life, or whatever that may be, right? That sometimes, because of these beliefs that have been just ingrained in us without us even questioning them or thinking about them and saying, like, is it actually coming from me or from an external source, or is it serving me? Then we just sometimes have that as like an autopilot, and therefore we feel like we can or cannot do something because those beliefs are overshadowing everything. So it is a very good point, and I really also want to invite the whole audience to think about this, right? If you are believing certain things, and maybe even think about what is it that you believe, and then secondly, is that a belief that is truly coming from you? Is that belief 100% true? And is it serving you? And if not, maybe it's time to make new beliefs. Maybe it's time to understand that there is perhaps more under the sun if it is not serving you. But if it is, then by all means, just keep on believing it. I think that's a very interesting point. And like you're mentioning this about how, like both of you, about how that influence, especially growing up, comes from family, from parents, from upbringing. But aside from that, obviously there's a lot of indoctrination happening from society, from school, from teachers, whether that's teachers in school or teachers for sports or from music or whatever you do as a child. And then there's mass media. There's so many different things. And it's actually really funny how all these things somehow then create some kind of a thing in here. So in here, we've got a whole lot of stuff going on. We've got a whole whirlwind. And all of that then comes up with an end product that is our belief of today and what we can or cannot do. But yeah, it's very important to just go in here, just look at the beautiful storm and say, hey, which parts are actually not serving me? Just think about and allow the calmness to come in, even though that may sound very theatrical. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Have you guys had it that whenever you start to think about these beliefs with more awareness, that you start to see shifts in your life, or that you are able to kind of take more control, more power into your life in making things happen? Like Bryan, how has that been for you?
I absolutely have. And literally my life 3 months ago, a little more than that, but specifically 3 months ago, has completely changed. All of my beliefs have completely changed. And I had the moment of I can't describe it anything other than an awakening inside of myself that really took place. And it built new beliefs that I now am carrying forward. And it also rose a lot of questions in my family of you're doing what? Like, what exactly is that? How are you going to make a living on that? Like, what the hell is that? And I've realized, and I've heard from a very wise master. Maybe you guys know him. Comment below if you know the master I'm specifically talking about. But beautiful soul. And it basically, he says that when you're coming into alignment of who you are, it's going to seem chaotic around you. And I know firsthandedly that my family didn't understand what I was doing, and taking a chance on starting my own business and talking to all these strange people all across the world. This beautiful tribe that I now have. And they could not wrap their head around, what it is that I'm doing in my life. But once I made those beliefs, once I believed the beliefs, because you have to take something from knowing it, and then you dip a toe into feeling it, and then it takes a little while till it gets to a full-blown belief. But when that happens, and you truly have trust in the universe, my life is like a beautiful whirlwind the past 3 months. I feel like the universe, whether it be with different family members or different situations, the universe truly has put me exactly where I'm needed every step of the way. And I've learned to give into it, don't question it, stay in every moment, stay present, and just absolutely enjoy it. And the trust in it is the most important part. Yeah.
Bryan, so you've talked about your like a journey and the transition over the last, a bit more than 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how your family and things and your surroundings started questioning you at different projects you've been doing, right? What kind of advice would you give to people who maybe are starting to take this path into their own kind of, I forgot what the word used exactly, but coming into themselves, coming into that path that they know feels right for them. But people around them are just being like, no, like you shouldn't be doing this. This is unsafe. This is not going to get you anywhere. You're crazy. Whatever, if, go signing on to personal development courses and being like, it's a scam or anything like that,
Yeah.
what's been your experience, and like, what would you say to someone that's maybe starting off, maybe like say the Bryan from 3 months, 4 or 5 months ago? What would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good question.
Absolutely. And thanks for asking. For me, aside from the awakening, because I feel like that's something that each individual has to just experience themselves.
Yeah.
I used to try meditation where it was guided meditation, and I thought in my head that that's all meditation was. So I went into it having expectations, and that left me feeling unsatisfied a lot because master's telling me to look at a light and I can't see the damn light. And so I actually, while I think guided meditation is very useful, I used to just sit in silence and think about everything that transpired that day and think, especially when you're getting those questions from the people that are questioning it, for lack of a better word. You have to genuinely reflect. And did you answer it in pure alignment of who you are and what you feel in your heart? And if not, then I think you still have to build the, I don't want to say awareness, but the you have a decision. You can either do what everyone else is doing, or you can do something for yourself. So it's taking one step at a time. Whether it be today, it's maybe I have 5 conversations with those imperfectly beautiful, crazy people that are questioning me, and maybe 4 out of the 5 I feel comfortable enough to actually answer it the way I would want to, and then it's not tearing yourself down from letting their doubts creep in, but you also have to start the momentum of the new beliefs that that you want to see in your everyday life. And it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's truly just one step at a time in whichever facet feels the most comfortable, and having the awareness of the reflecting, more or less.
Yeah, because it
Nice.
is
Really
scary,
nice.
right? When you start to go on this path and you're, dipping your toe in, dipping your leg in, your foot, whatever, and you start dipping more in, and because it's scary enough as it is, right? You yourself, you're kind of going into the unknown, and then having these people then reinforcing maybe the doubts that you have. Maybe your belief isn't fully developed yet, and those people reinforcing the doubts. And I think we've all had that, right? Like I've definitely had it in different projects that I've taken on in the last year and things like that. And what's really helped me in those times is actually finding people that align more with the belief that I want and the future that I want. And so moving away from, no, I'm not saying cut off people, like, it might be family, like it's not saying just have a clear cut. Maybe sometimes that is the healthy thing to do, but not, people can decide for themselves about that. But it is from maybe moving away from those people to moving towards people who align better. And I think that's what I found in finding like you guys and finding the FLC tribe and finding the people within I Am Creator as well. It has such a powerful impact on your belief system itself, and having that positive reinforcement of well, as opposed to the negative reinforcement. Oh, we've lost Bryan.
Bryan's he'll be back.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, like finding the FLC tribe and finding people. Oh, hello.
I don't know what
we switched places. Yeah, finding your tribe, as I was saying, is like massively important, and it's what gave me a lot of confidence, what gave me a lot of drive, and being able to kind of be on the journey all together.
Yeah.
So I would, if there's one piece of advice I would share with people who are starting out on this, on their own path, is find people who are also on a similar path and go together.
Yeah, definitely. I really what's the word? I really second that as well.
Yeah.
And I think from my story, my own perspective, I've always been super blessed that my family always supports me. And like whenever we're thinking like, oh, people may think you are crazy, my family and me were equally as crazy. We're equally as, imperfectly beautiful, and excited about, adventures and things like that. So I used to have it as well when I started into this journey of entrepreneurship and helping people and empowering people and stuff like that, that I was really thinking to myself, like, how do you give that advice? That's why the question that you guys just shared was a very beautiful one. And I was also thinking to myself, like, how do you deal with it when people say that you're crazy? Because like they probably come from a good place, right? Like, especially if it's your family members, they usually really want the best for you. So what I think also is like a very important thing, which you guys also touched upon, is that understanding that each of us are all going through our own journey. Sometimes, and I think this is often said in this self-development world, it's like that we how do you say this? Let me find the words. that we sometimes it is said in a way where we just come from our own perspective basically and think like, oh no, I'm having an awakening, so I am good or whatever, right? You think like I am further ahead than anyone else. But that doesn't have to be the case at all. It could be actually that the other person is further ahead than you, but you're just in a different space. Or it could be that you are having that awakening and the other person is yet about to have that awakening. And if you have the patience with that person by having conversation, and like you guys are saying, not cutting all ties, but just take the balance in it. Take the balance by being with a tribe that is supporting you so that you don't lose those new beliefs that are serving you better, but also don't cut the ties so that you cannot help another person or cannot be there on the other person's journey, and to really respect, what is going on in the people that matter for you. Obviously, if it's a person, and this is what Kaina and I were talking about in a live a couple of days back, it's like when you really have it, and maybe, some of you may have experienced this at school or maybe in the crazy days of youth, that you have this really that not so good peer group that is encouraging you to do very bad things, and like, oh, I'm with the cool crowd and whatever, right? Like encouraging the negative behavior. Then at those moments is when you may decide for yourself, like, yes, I am going to cut ties because it's actually not beneficial at all, and I really should be focusing on growing myself rather than getting in trouble. So in those moments, like Pierre said, then you need to see, like, maybe then you cut or maybe then you don't cut, but you have to see that for yourself. But I certainly second what these guys have been saying about finding your tribe, because it definitely helps you, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you're not the only crazy person. It can be really, really encouraging, because again, if you are embarking on a journey, and you guys let us know in the comments as well, maybe you are wanting to do something really beautiful, maybe you want to create the life of your dreams, maybe you want to explore a new passion, or whatever it may be, then know that you're not the only one trying to do that. There's countless of other crazy people that are doing the same thing. And doing it together, as scary as that journey may be, it's much more enjoyable because then you can be scared together. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, we got this, and you cheer each other on and all that type of stuff. And I truly, I mean, I really, really, really feel so blessed for our FLC family, our FLC tribe. And I mean, you guys know, whenever there's certain parts in the journey, whoever it is, whether it's my journey, whether it's your journey, whether it's any other member's journey, it's like it's a family that we're there for one another, and there's no judgment. There's like only like everything's going to be okay. We're here for one another. We're here to support you. We're here to hold you accountable. But you know, it's going to be okay. We're going to do this. So everyone who's here watching this right now with us, or who is going to be watching this on the replay, comment below and say your tribe equals your vibe, because it's so true. It really helps you. And that's why, yeah, I think we can definitely count our blessings for, you know, having such incredible positivity around us and in a very big portion of our lives. And because of that, actually, we had a very, very, very special thing that we wanted to share with you guys. Because as you guys know, there's a banner coming along. We have an event coming up, which is the FLA event. Comment below, FLA, Freedom Lifestyle Accelerator. It's going to be super, super amazing. It's going to happen from the 26th until the 28th of March, which is in a week's time from now, so exactly a week's time. And on that event, Master Akashna, myself, our amazing, incredible FLC team are going to be there transforming hundreds of people's lives right there from the comfort of your computer or your phone. And yeah, we already know that this is going to be that helping hand to allow you to instill powerful beliefs and enforce them and do it together and all the rest of it. So if anybody's watching this right now and who haven't got your ticket yet, there is a link in the description so you can grab your ticket. But we were also thinking, what if we were to do something special? So we were having a little discussion amongst ourselves and we said, like, what could we do for our amazing, imperfectly beautiful audience? And we came to the conclusion that it would be super, super nice if we were to give away a VIP ticket for free. Now, if anyone watching this right now would be very keen on receiving a VIP ticket to the event, which means VIP entrance to the event, getting live Q&A sessions every single day of the event with us, and getting a lifetime access to a recording of an FLA, then comment below and say VIP. Because we are not going to just give away one ticket, we're going to give away 2 tickets on this very, very special episode. Well, we're not going to say it today, but today we're going to give you guys the instructions. So let me see, because if you guys don't want it, then we obviously don't have to do it. If you guys comment below and type VIP, then we might be blessing you with a VIP ticket. So let me just, before any further ado, give you the instruction. So if you want to win a VIP ticket to FLA, all you have to do is share this video. Okay, so just click on the share button right now, share this video with your tribe, with your family, with people, so that you can pass this message on, and we can therefore together inspire more people. And what we will be doing in the days leading up to the event, so 7 more days, we will be selecting 2 people who've made the most incredible share post for this video. And then we will say, person, you have received a free VIP ticket, and we will be absolutely humbled to welcome you to the event on a VIP. So that's the instructions. If you guys are ready for this, make sure to share the video right now and you can win yourself a VIP ticket. Now, on that note, a quick question about FLA. I know that's where we met you, Bryan. It's, well, I don't know if we've ever met before, but that's the moment that I really was like, and actually it was Seb. Seb said to me, look at that dude. And it was really, really incredible because you stood out so incredibly. I don't know if you remember, Pierre, like this guy was like, man.
I wasn't
Bryan.
I wasn't there at the FLA, but Bryan definitely stood out. I remember on FLC, and there was something about you, Bryan. You're like the only person I could, apart from Tjibaria, and Seb, who were hosting the whole thing. But my attention was always diverted back to Bryan, who was always so smiley. I don't know, you've just got such a bright vibe, bright aura about you. So yeah, that must have been what you guys felt at FLA as well. So.
Yeah. Oh, Absolutely, like so incredible. Maybe you share a little bit about your experience and when you came to the event, which was already how many months ago? I can't count.
I think it was in October.
October, yeah, end of October. Yes, that's it.
Mhm. Yeah, the FLA was incredible. I attended quite a few things before that, but you probably didn't notice me because I didn't have my camera on for any of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to kind of tie everything in, like with what I was saying earlier, so I actually attended yoga. I think it was a 7-day yoga challenge by Master, and
Mm.
on the 7th day, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn my camera on. I've never done this for any of these events. I'm just gonna do it. And that was my one step. And then that led me the next weekend was thank you. The next weekend was the FLA event. And just from taking that first step, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna put my camera on every day and show up. And it genuinely changed my life. I mean, it got to the point where I believe you guys had technical difficulties, and I found myself being the speaker of the FLA.
Yes,
And I was like, what the hell is going on? But
that was something.
yeah, it was
OMG.
crazy. But that was my line in the sand moment that genuinely changed my life. The beautiful space that is the FLA, the high energies, the everyone coming together for the same common goal, plus 100% playing full out like we're taught. And that was the first time I really did that. And my life has not been the same since. And so I would advise everybody to get your VIP tickets, at least show up. You're all VIP anyway, but just play full out. And if you're going to put in time, put in good time. And that's when my life changed.
Yeah, it's really beautiful to hear because it's funny that you mentioned this, saying like this was the first time that you actually on the yoga challenge, the last day of the yoga challenge, turn on the camera, and then you were at FLA playing full out, and we really had this feeling like, man, this guy must do this for a living or something like that. Like how comfortably and how you speak with such presence and such kindness and everything is like, man, this guy is so good. And like Bryan said just before, we had it that on day number 2, then all of a sudden what was it, the router stopped, so all the internet stopped, and we were like, oh my gosh, the event is still running. And then I don't know, somehow we got back our internet, and then someone saying, oh, no worries, Bryan is running the show. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty awesome. So all of a sudden, the universe had put it together in a way where Bryan was the one who had speaking access, and he was just keeping the show running with hundreds of people there listening to Bryan. It's like, OMG, this is incredible. And that's also the moment where we were like, okay, Bryan, you need to be part of the FLC. You need to be there. It's like no other way around it. It was so cool. But like, if you then tie it back into belief and then those actions and all of that stuff, did when you take that action in that way and you were surrounded in that environment and you were like all playing full out, did that reinforce the positive beliefs and therefore allowed you to continue to do? Because you said your life has never been the same. Like how did that feel, and how is that helping you now, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. So in my, when I take a step back and actually look at and reflect on it, I was very used to having the momentum of, you have dreams and goals, but it's not realistic. It's not going to happen to me. That was the first real time where I made a decision. And because, in my opinion, because the effort matched vibrationally of the new belief, that was, to me, that was the universe saying, this is something you need to do. This is where you're meant to be. And once you get, once you have your toe in and it feels like the perfect temperature with what you're vibing with, then I just jumped right in. And I think I think the universe will always show you, what's aligned in your heart and, what your purpose is and how you can best, facilitate that to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. That's really um yeah, it's funny how this works because our minds are so incredibly powerful, and it literally will just listen to whatever we feed it. Like if we feed it with silly stuff, then it will believe it, and therefore we will affirm that. If we feed it with strong things, good beliefs, then that will materialize and that will be reinforced. And yeah, it's really really interesting. I quickly want to read out a. Oh, sorry, what did you say?
No, I was just going to pick up on what you were just saying there on what we feed ourselves is kind of like what we say to ourselves essentially creates our reality.
Yeah.
And like, even though, you know, I think the further you get along this like journey of like finding that belief and all that, I think the easier it gets and the more often, the easier it gets to pick yourself to how to say it, to realize when you're kind of maybe shifting back to the previous kind of state. You know, like you might have moments you're stressed, you're tired, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? I can't do this. But
Yeah.
and like we all have that, we're all human. But I think it just gets easier and easier the more and more you do it to be like, oh no, like I don't need to think like that, and you kind of bring yourself back into your power. And yeah, so that positive self-talk is super important, and it is much easier as well. Like we've been saying, if you have the tribe backing you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's just so key. It's like snap you back into the moment. 100%. I just quickly wanted to read out a comment, a beautiful comment made by my dad. I'm just quickly going to show it into the screen as well. That is saying, an awakening is nothing more than moving from, I'm going to read it from this side, moving from the last checkpoint to the next one. Our perspective of the reality is nothing more than your personal perception of it. And it is different for every single person. There's not one absolute truth or reality. So finding people who are like-minded is empowering because it gives you a sort of confirmation that you are not alone in your experience of reality. All this strengthens your belief in yourself, your perception of reality, and being together in this. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Dad.
Absolutely.
Love you. Hoo, ha, hoo for that. Yeah, so true. And I also love the analogy because sometimes I say these things as well, like checkpoints and stuff like that. I just got it from my dad. I just copied my dad. So it's really cool because you just think about it as a game, and a lot of us can relate to games as well. But yeah, it is really true, and there's no absolute truth. And at the end of the day, like our experience is also something that we all connect with as well. That didn't come out right. Not as beautiful as my dad's words. So I'm going to pass the mic on to one of you guys. There was a mic drop and this was a mic fail.
No, that was good.
It was imperfectly beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah. And are there any other more comments that we should mention? Because thank you guys so much for being here and vibing with us as always. It's so wonderful every single time we have it.
Yeah.
Can you guys also press on it? Do you guys have the ability to press and show?
I don't think so.
Only I've got the power. Is there any? Yes, exactly.
There's a question from Misty. Is there an amount of time that it takes to subconsciously make the choice to succeed?
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an amount of time that it takes to subconsciously make the choice to succeed? That's actually the perfect bridge to the next part. Thank you so much for that question, and thank you for picking that out as well. Because yeah, that is a question. Let me ask like the audience, what do you guys think about it? Do you guys think that success is a choice? And if success is a choice, then the second part is there an amount of time that it takes to really let that also subconsciously land such that it really becomes your truth and operates from that? Is there a fixed time unit for it? What do you guys think?
It is
you
a
asking
choice.
us or the audience?
Oh, sorry, like audience before, but right now you guys.
I think it is a choice, especially when things become a bit more difficult. I think the choice in being successful then lies in choosing to carry on despite the failures, despite the mistakes, despite the hard times. And it's just knowing that you're going to make it work no matter what. And that doesn't mean it's going to work in the way you want it to work.
Not at all.
You got to release that kind of expectation, just let that go, keep putting one foot ahead of the other, taking one step at a time, but still having that belief. And you can set your goal, whether you achieve it, whether you achieve something far greater, whether you achieve something completely different along the way, but knowing that it's going to work out in the end. I think that's something I have now that I didn't have before. Like I'm putting the work in to achieve certain goals, there's a thing, I'm impatient and I want things to happen straight away. And that's been the cause of a lot of stress recently. But it's something I'm picking up on more and more and trying to, like I said, about just becoming aware of it and being like, okay, no, I don't have to, for myself, I'm not in a rush. And I just, whenever I get that kind of stress coming from that, I always tell myself that I'm not in a rush and that I know I'm going to succeed in it, whatever happens, whether it's, a week, a month, 2 years, a year, however long it takes, but I know that I'm going to get there. So I don't know. Don't know if that really answers the question, Misty, but I think it is a shift that progressively happens. At least for me, it progressively happened, and we're all different, so it might take longer, it might take less time. For some people, it might just be a one moment shift.
Yeah, interesting. What do you think, Bryan, about this?
Yeah, I think Pierre makes a lot of valid points there, because when I reflect back to my own experiences, I probably attended 20 or 30 different master classes and stuff like that. So I guess in reality, it did kind of start gradual, where you start hearing certain things and it starts resonating, but maybe not everything is for where you are at that time yet. But then you hear more and more, and then you believe it more and more, and then it very well could reach that line in the sand moment where everything just aligns and clicks. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know if there is a specific time frame for anything. I think it's just the amount of momentum that you build, and I think positive or negative momentum is going to carry out and be the dominant feelings that you have. So in whichever way you can take control of that momentum, instead of just feeling like, feeling good about yourself, and then you have one of those weird conversations, and in my experience with family that has no clue what you're doing, you can take the control and think, well, this is something negative, and I wish more than anything they understood this. Or you can take it the other way and say, this is something that I believe in, and as much as I love and care for them, it's they don't have to feel the same way I do. So I think it's very much a person to person case, and I think the more you stress out about it being an issue, I don't know if you can get to the solution from seeing it as an issue. So don't put too much stress or expectations on it. You just kind of remove yourself from glorifying it or looking at it in a certain way, and just, I think that's when you turn this off and you turn your heart on. You listen there.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I really, really agree with what both of you say about like putting in the effort, keep on believing in yourself, especially again when times are hard. Just keep on saying those positive things to yourself. Keep on reminding yourself on it. Keep on giving yourself a big bear hug, as Bryan always says, and or Seb. Was it Bryan or Seb? I can't remember who said it. I think Bryan, you said it right one episode. Give yourself a big bear hug or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, to keep on reinforcing it. But especially also what Pierre mentioned in the end, that you shouldn't Like we cannot oversee how our future is going to be. We cannot foresee all the greatness because we only know what we know based on our current frame of reference, right? And so we might be wanting one thing and have set that expectation, like, this is the way how I want it to be, like, yeah, this is it. And then actually thereby blocking yourself from even better things that could happen. And so if we put in the work, we give ourselves the belief, we take the action, and also at the same time, as difficult as it may sound, let go of the expectation, then we actually open up the world so that either what's going to happen to us is exactly what we want or something even better. And my sister also always talks about this, Miss Kaina, that you just keep on doing the work, you keep on doing the good things, you keep on thinking the good thoughts, you keep on putting in the small little efforts that you might think nobody notices, but it all matters. But don't expect anything in particular. And also understand that, again, in terms of time frame, what was asked in this question, that's a big part of the expectation that we said. We want to be a millionaire in 2 weeks, or we want to be a millionaire in 2 months, or in 2 years, or whatever. But it doesn't matter. If you truly trust and also believe in yourself unconditionally, then you're going to get there. You're going to get there. You're going to get there or somewhere even better. Whether it happens, like Pierre said, in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years, in 500 years, no, not 500 years, then it doesn't matter, because it will happen. So then that can allow you to get rid of some of the stress and actually understand that, all I have to do is just keep on moving, keep on swimming. You said that yesterday, right? Like, keep on swimming, keep on swimming.
Yeah,
like in Finding Nemo, and just be relaxed about it, because the funny thing about our heads is that whenever we let stress in, that then also in some shape or form carries into our beliefs, carries into our doubts, and that then self-sabotages. So it is like this very beautiful dance with, putting in the right work, feeding ourselves the good beliefs, surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals that can encourage us to keep on believing in ourselves, even when it's hard and the times are toughest to actually do it, that someone can say, hey, I got you, you got me, or whatever, like, hey, we got this together and we're going to keep on going. And that you then just, keep putting those little steps. And eventually it's going to happen. And eventually it may come sooner than you think. And eventually also is different for everybody else. I completely agree with what you guys said there. There's a lot of comments that came in, so let's just have a quick look at that as well.
Sooner it comes.
Yeah. Let it go, let it go. I always had such difficulty with that, but I think I've kind of... Sorry? Oh, there's a connection thing, but everything's gonna be okay. Let me just quickly see what Missy is saying. Isabel was saying first. Isabel was saying, no, it can be immediately. Yeah, I think so too. Like, some people can be immediately, some people it can take longer, but whatever is the case for you, it doesn't matter, because you're gonna get there eventually, or you're gonna get somewhere better. So it's all gonna be good. And Missy is saying, I recently lost my job and I don't look at it as a negative. Beautiful. We've got this thing within FLC that whenever someone loses a job or quits a job, we celebrate. Yeah, amazing. Congratulations. High five. It's a good thing. And I have seen it as an opportunity for allowing myself to go for my dreams and succeed. Yes, you absolutely got this, Misty. Everybody comment below and say, Misty, you got this. 100%. And Kathy is saying, when you believe you have no more choices, as Master says, the pain drive, let it go, like a gun to your head. OMG, there's a lot of stress. You have to figure it out. No one is there to save you. You have it in you. It is hard. Yeah, I really like this this analogy, because this is like what we sometimes talk about as well within FLC. But if you have this time bomb strapped to you, then all of a sudden you start acting differently as well, because like you don't say, oh, I'm just going to watch somewhere on Netflix if there's a time ticking away for a bomb to go boom. So it does definitely, if you put your mind towards that as well, so like, hey, it's now or never, I'm going to just do it. And when you say I'm just going to do it, doesn't mean that you're going to do it like massive step in one go, like you fly to the moon or something like that. No, you just take one step at a time. Little by little, you make the efforts, but you do it consistently. So yeah, that's very beautiful. And that is saying the question is, are we as humans really free to choose, or are we a result of the laws of nature? So do we choose, or is it the universe choosing for us when
Wow,
we
look at
are
this
ready?
guy.
Ooh.
He's showing up today.
I think that's
That,
very,
that is a very
that's
interesting
very
question.
powerful. Where you
What do you guys think? Yeah, where are you? Okay, we're gonna send good vibes for the internet to come back.
Hello?
Are you back with us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Can
Yeah,
you
I think
hear me?
you're back.
Oh,
We didn't hear a thing of what you said.
okay. No, I
Yes, now we
actually
can.
wanted to pick up on this comment earlier, because whatever way you choose to look at it, whether it's predetermined, the universe kind of provides us with what we need when we're ready, then that's great, because you don't have to worry about anything. Go like there, you can kind of like go with the flow. Whatever happens to you, keep taking your step by step kind of thing. And then the second option, if we are free to choose, then even better, because, well, not even better, but it's just as good, because then we have all the power to, to go where we want. So in a sense, that should take the stress away. Obviously, there's other things on top, but
Yeah.
either like the universe is choosing what's best for us when we're ready, or we get to choose exactly how we want to go through life. So I think that's
Yeah. And I personally believe as well that it's like a mixture based on previous lives, based on karma, based on what we're supposed to learn in this lifetime, and what we are supposed to grow into in order to do even greater things. And on top of that, also, I believe that we do have a responsibility to do things, because if we just sit here, really nothing's going to happen. And as much as the universe has in store for us, nothing's going to happen unless that's what the universe has in store for us, which again, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's really true. Like it's like both these things can be at play, or in my belief are both in play. But either way, we shouldn't have stress because everything's going to be okay. Everything is just going to be relaxed and nice, and as long as we keep that action, or as we like to call it, effective action, wink wink, keep that going, and then yeah, everything's gonna be
just quickly
absolutely
on
fine.
that theme. If anyone, am I still? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, you are frozen though, but
Okay.
that's all good.
Okay, as long as you can hear me. There's a good book by Michael A. Singer. If anyone's interested in kind of this thing about kind of letting go and going with the flow, it's called The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. And it's just a very powerful book about his life story and how he just he put aside his opinions on whether what was happening to him was good or bad, and just went along with it. Basically allowing kind of the universe to decide for him, and he was very spiritual, but also very successful in business, very just a very well-rounded life, and it was very inspirational, just like reading it and knowing how you can just let things happen and not get stressed out over them. So The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer.
Okay, The Surrender Experiment. Everybody go check that out. Sounds really cool. Nice. I might pick up the book, even though I don't like to read. I like to listen.
I listen.
So maybe
I listened to the audiobook. Very good.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes. Nice. If you're an audiobook reader or an audiobook listener, just like us, then comment below and say audiobook listener. Yeah. And let's see. Wow, the comments are going crazy today. This is so beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Really, really love this interaction and everything that we are doing together over here. Actually, on that note, I quickly have this question, and this is something yeah, something connected to what was just said, and that we have often talked about as well, is about basically visualization and operating kind of from future beliefs. And this is actually something I cannot say too much about. There's a very, very, very special project happening and soon launching, and this incredible project Mr. Pierre will know all about, and Mr. Bryan will hear soon about it, and everyone else will hear soon about it. It's going to be exactly spot on with what we're talking about today. So if you guys are perhaps a bit interested in something that could perhaps completely help you in all of this stuff that we talked about, then comment below and say AAA. Just out of curiosity, AAA. If you wish, then this will it could be a really, really cool thing. But anyways, what I want to as we're going towards the end of today's episode, I ask you guys a question about is how often do you guys experience or include thinking about the future in your lives and in achieving the little wins, achieving the big wins, achieving like things in your life, like what the title talks about is success really a decision that is fueled by belief? How often do you guys think about the future or visualize the future and allow that to and strengthen your beliefs? Like, I don't know if that's a word, but you guys will know what I mean. Bryan, what would you say about that?
So for me, I used to heavily look at the future because I was so unsatisfied with what was in my present. I was visualizing, I was, sitting in silence, visualizing, meditating, trying to get out of the present moment because I didn't like it. But now, recently, I still have goals. I still have big picture ideas, but it's more or less what can I do today to get me closer to that. So like, as before, it was like this big goal, like this house, this car, this, all those big things. And today it's like, okay, what decisions can I make to get to there? It's more of like the step-by-step process, more or less. That's changed for me.
Yeah, nice, really nice. What can I do today? Everybody comment below. What can I do today that will bring me closer to my tomorrow or my desired tomorrow? Very beautiful. Very, very nice. And Pierre, how about you?
I think so I was kind of reading the comments as you were asking the question, so I didn't fully grasp it. But I think from Bryan's answer, I can guess. Essentially, you can ask the question if I've not answered it. Ask the question again if I don't answer it properly. But
oh good. That's why you are imperfectly beautiful.
Yeah, I too have my goals and things I want to achieve, and that is a driver. It is a big driver, but also those. I think I didn't want to be stuck in the position that I was and feeling the way that I was, and that was a big motivator as well for me to take action and to move forward towards that place of just really being uncomfortable. And it wasn't uncomfortable because I was stepping out of my comfort zone. It was uncomfortable because I just really didn't like the space I was in, the energy I was in, and kind of not taking action and not moving forwards is more painful than the stress and whatever may come along the path of taking action to going towards that goal. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Can you repeat that sentence, please? Can you repeat that? And can everybody please write that down, because that's a very powerful sentence. Please say it again, please.
Yeah. If I can remember what I said.
I'm putting you on the spot now, huh?
Yeah, that's fine. Staying stuck in that discomfort, not being, like I said, it's not the discomfort you get from going out of your comfort zone. It's being just in a negative kind of space where you just don't feel like yourself. Your energy is not right. That's more painful. Being stuck is more painful than whatever it is you might have to face: the stress, the anxiety, the fear, the mistakes that you might make, the setbacks. Being stuck for me was way more painful than having to face all that daunting stuff. And even though, you know, that daunting stuff comes up and it triggers things in me and makes me want to be like, go into my bed and not do anything. but like that I'm more scared of going back to that place of not feeling good than to face all that and move towards a place where I know things will be better. I said it best the first time around, but yeah, you guys get the picture. You can watch it on replay.
Yeah,
you can watch it on replay.
Everyone comment that.
Yes, you watch it on replay. Yeah, it's actually really funny that I went to this part, because as you guys know as well from, you know, marketing psychology, if you think about it, what drives people to take action and what drives people to make specifically purchase decisions, there's these two different things there. One is pain and one is pleasure, right? And so when you think about it from a marketing perspective, like marketing 101, one of the things that is shared based on study and statistics is that people have a much bigger drive, or most people statistically feel a much bigger driver moving away from something that is very painful and something that is loss associated, than moving towards something that is extra luxurious or extra pleasurable or something like that. And it's very funny that came forward into this episode today. And also, I think it was someone mentioning that in the comments as well earlier, like far back, about that, you know, not wanting to be in a position and wanting to move forward because of that, and that sometimes you get into these circumstances where there's no way to go left, right. I think it was Kathy saying that I like you can't do anything anymore. You just have to go forward. And those are also the ones that create the rags to riches stories, right? And that people just have to move forward. But I think that is very interesting, and I think also a key element, what you guys just described, for anyone listening to that and wondering, like, how can I use what we talked about today to strengthen my beliefs and actually see results or see change, see those shifts that any of our lovely panel has been speaking about today and our lovely audience has been speaking about today, is to actually understand that, like, if you change nothing, nothing will change. If you keep stuck, that actually will cause more trouble most of the time, because we are beings that evolve and we thrive at growth, and you know, it's like it's part of nature, and if you keep staying still, it's actually not good. Well, I think it's not good for us, like there's these sayings to say, like if you're not growing, you're dying, and all that type of stuff, right? And so why does it sometimes happen that we don't move, or that we feel like, oh, I shouldn't move? Is because we again think that, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? But as you know, just described, those things that might happen are far less scary than what we will be facing if we don't move at all. And also to remind the audience, and comment this below, 90% of the things that we worry about never even happen. Just think about it. Just think back on your life so far. Have you ever had this moment where you were like, oh, what will this person say? What will that person do? Everything's going to explode. And you're like, oh, man, what happens? And then you went into the situation and actually nothing happened. And you're like, why was I worried? Like that, in retrospect, makes sense. Now take it forward to the future. Allow it to then make you aware of the fact that all these fears are part of our lives. Like we are in this car driving, and fear is always going to be there. We can't just say, oh, fear, we're just gonna, those seats in these stories, in this superhero, like poof, fear is gone. We can't get rid of fear, but as long as we sit in the back seat and we're the ones driving, then we can keep control, or as much control as we have in our life, to beautify it in all aspects of life. And like Bryan said before, like, what can we do today that could move us further to what we wish to achieve? How can we take action today? What little thing? It doesn't have to be the biggest thing, right? We don't have to climb Mount Everest today or something like that. Just a little step today, and every step matters. Every step counts. So I thought these were very, very beautiful tips, shares, stories, whatever you may call them. Very, very beautiful. And I wanted to add one more thing to it as well, from my perspective, and in the way how I carry myself through life. Is that I often think about the future a lot. Like every day, it's like I live. And I spoke to Pierre about this before. Like I feel like I live in a fantasy. Like every day, like oh, like and I'm not saying that I don't have bad days. I have my fair share of bad days or days I'm like, oh my gosh, what this, what that, and all that stuff, right? But to really imagine, to really imagine everything if it was all up to you, and to really dare to think about it. Because if we dare to think about it, sometimes people don't even dare to think about it because they think, oh no, that's just a fantasy, that's not true, that's far removed from reality. No, be crazy like that. Just imagine. And my dad had a very beautiful video about this a little while ago on his YouTube or on his Facebook. Kurumano, make sure to follow him. And he talks about the power of imagination. And if we dare to bring it into our imagination, and we kind of move with our spirit towards that point, and we start feeling, how does that life feel, or how does that future, that situation feel like? And we then start to associate ourselves with all of those thoughts, all of those feelings, all of those beliefs. Then we can actually carry that mindset, that feeling, that vibe into our today. And with that, we take our daily steps, as Bryan said. We move away from a painful, unpleasant situation if we were to stay stuck in it, like Pierre said, but with the belief and childlike imagination, so that we actually create what we want to, rather than settling for less and thinking like, oh no, it's not possible because of whatever. Like we start this conversation with all these beliefs that are ingrained in us that might not even be ours to begin with, that might not even serve us to begin with. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this episode. I really want to thank you guys so much for the beautiful topics, the beautiful laughs, and the beautiful wisdom. Let me see if there's any more things that we can highlight from these beautiful comments. Oh wow, there's so many comments came in the meantime. There probably are too much to go over all of them, but let me just quickly go pick one randomly. Kathy is saying, remember to breathe, Misty. Your breath says with you all your life. From birth to your last day, we are all in this world together. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Everybody breathe. As a matter of fact, let us breathe together. Take a deep breath in. Not laugh like me and then out. Or if you are like me, then you have in and then out, which is fine too occasionally. And Misty was saying, it turns out it was my job causing the stress. Yeah, that's why I always feel like just quit your job already, everyone. But that's easy to say. Okay, cool. Next one. Your soul will push you to move forward one way or another. That is so true. Beautiful. And Misty is saying, fear is growth. 100%. 100%. Kathy is saying, definitely, Tjibaria. Action today. One step matters. Yes. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Dad says, try to embrace fear and see it as a stepping stone to your desired future. And on that note, I think that we can call it a day. Thank you so much, Dad. And Bryan, I leave the honor to you to end this episode with your beautiful, stunning voice. By the way, can I say that this guy is speaking on FLA? So if you haven't got your ticket on FLA already, make sure to share this video, because you do not want to miss the highlight of the whole entire 3-day show, which is Bryan speaking. And I'm not going to tell you which day it is, because then you're going to be there all days. So Bryan is speaking. He's going to blow you guys away. Make sure to share this video and be able to get a VIP ticket for free. We're going to assign 2 winners. And on that note, I'm going to pass it on to Bryan. And Bryan, you'll do your thing.
Thank you, Tjibaria. And I just want to take a quick minute to thank everybody that hopped on here. Absolutely everybody. I think something that I tended to overlook when I was reflecting about this topic, Pierre brought it in and so did Tjibaria, it made me reflect in the moment very quickly that how much all of you really played a humongous part in, you know, my beliefs changing and me personally keeping my momentum going. So I have to thank everybody for that. And I saw Arno was on here. Him and I have formed a brotherhood just from FLA. And, you know, I went on to one thing, he went on to another thing, but we formed a brotherhood at the FLA. So everyone should be there. There's no reason anyone should not be there. And
100%. Brother A and brother B.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I think the four of us in totality, Seb is not here, but I think I can speak for everybody and saying how important the community really is to all of us, and everyone hopping on and commenting and liking, and you better be sharing to get your VIP ticket. And we all genuinely thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of the love, support, and all the amazing, amazing souls and all the wins and just absolutely everything. So that's pretty much all I have to say to close this out. We thank you very much.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much, Bryan. Thank you so much, Pierre. And thank you so much, our wonderful audience. And we see you all at FLA. And also, thank you so much, Seba. We just woke up. So yeah, see you guys on the next episode of Imperfectly Beautiful, or I'm Perfectly Beautiful. We love you all, and we see you soon. Bye.